Hello everybody, it's Mr. Second Amendment, and I just want to do a quick video about the defensive AR-15. ARs, of course, you can use it for anything. This is just one guy's AR, one guy's opinions, and this is what I'm doing with mine. It's a defensive gun. It's one of my primary home defense guns, and when I'm locking up the gun range at night, I have it with me all day, and when I'm closing up, I'm going through the buildings, making sure all the locks are locked, everything like that. Everything's alarmed, going through alleyways and around the buildings at night as I'm locking up. So, this rifle, I had to look at what I was doing with it and what I need, and I had to set it up accordingly. And I took some notes. Basically, anytime I get a gun or I'm trying to utilize a gun for a certain task or a situation, I basically write it down. I just sit down, honestly write it down. Okay, what am I using it for? And then the second step is, okay, based off of that, what are the critical needs? What do I need? What do I not really need? And then I can get down to exactly what kind of gear that I actually need. So of course, in terms of what I'm using it for, it's going to be home defense every night, going through dark buildings, alleyway stuff. So nightly building checks, dark areas at night. It's got to be something that's portable and as lightweight as possible. Something I can carry all around the facility, and something that I could carry over mileage if I had to, but I wanted it to be a personal defense weapon. And my overall mindset was I wanted to try as close as and the best I could to keep this as lightweight as possible. So what I started to realize, though, as I did my second step, which is looking at critical needs, I started to realize that it's not going to be as easy to stick to keeping it clean and lightweight. So some things had to happen. So critical needs, I need the gun to be very durable, very reliable, so it needs to be well made. It needs to be something that's capable of great reliability, as should be expected out of an AR, especially a defensive AR. It needs a light, and I put that with an emphasis there. It really needs a light. Obviously, light is such a necessity in the home and what I'm doing with it. I'm looking at basically a basic red dot optic or holographic was kind of the mindset I wanted. Just to easy acquisition, light up a target, put the dot on it, keep it as simple as possible. I didn't want to have to line up a rear and front sight, put it on the target and pull the trigger. I just wanted, there's the dot or the holographic, put it on, boom, it's done. So I wanted to keep it as mindless and as simple as possible. I wanted to have backup iron sights, as you've seen in my other videos. I'll link up my EDC videos, but I want to have a contingency for the contingency's contingency. I want to have backup plans where if something goes wrong, that I can ditch it and I can move along and keep going. And I wanted a heavy retention sling, basically from whoever or whatever is trying to get this rifle off of me. I want to keep it on my body. So this is a seatbelt style. We'll get into that. Pretty heavy duty. Okay, so anyway, looking at the rifle itself, it's a Stag strip lower, Smith & Wesson lower parts, and it's a built Spikes Tactical upper. Everything they do with Spikes Tactical, I've just been really impressed with their quality. And the chrome lining, the quality of the rifling, just everything they do, the quality of the finish is just immaculate. So I'm going to put that in the link, linking up the specs of my built upper from Spikes if you want to check it out. Huge fan of what they do, great quality thing. Alright, so moving in, I realized the quad rail is just going to have to happen. Alright, I wanted to try to avoid it. It was kind of the elephant in the room. I didn't want to think about it or talk about it, but I started to realize the quad rail was just going to happen. And the reason for that is, because I want to have gear that I can take on and off. I want to move stuff around as my opinions or needs or as the mission changes over time. I need to move stuff around. If I'm attending a carbine course or letting a buddy borrow it or letting a lefty shoot it or whatnot, I want just the usability and configuration that I can just take things off, put it on, just make it a giant Lego set. And that's just instantly I realized the quad rail was just going to have to happen. There was no way around it. And moving on to the forward grip, I'm one of those crazy people, I guess. I like a forward grip. It adds stability. I like having this, basically this opposing grips to basically stabilize my shots, especially when I extend the stock fully and I'm doing controlled pairs or whatnot. That is a very stable shooting platform, even when standing at 100 yards. It's actually really stable. I kind of view my forward grip, you can see I have it set all the way forward. It's like on the most farthest allowable on that quad rail. And I kind of view it like I view iron sights, how you want to have your iron sights as far apart as possible for the longest sight radius. That's how I view a foregrip and a pistol grip. I want to separate those to get the most stability instead of having them really close. Now I understand the need to get really close, so that's why I use the mag and the mag well for. I'll hold it like this if I'm getting around corners and whatnot, but if I want that stability, I'll have this really long opposition. I really like that. Just one guy's opinion. Moving on to the light, a light just had to happen. I hooked myself up with this Mako light mount. You can push that button and slide it on and off, put it anywhere you want, and it's got this locking screw right here, this tight clasp, where it'll accommodate any type of flashlight for any type of diameter of tube. So really cool, really good unit, really solid, well made. I've got a Browning flashlight on there, 210 lumens. It's pretty bright at night, especially. Trying to, I guess people call it the tactical shadow, is the barrel right here. I try to eliminate that as much as possible. And just really brightens up a room, even goes across the parking lot at work. Certainly there's better lights out there, but this one is a really good one for the money, so I just did it. Has different lighting modes, not really interested in them, but it's kind of cool to have anyway. Alright, so moving on, we're looking at the front sight post. Some people are going to be like, Mr. Second Amendment, why don't you ditch that? Get a Picatinny gas block. Guys, I've seen through the Army and through personal civilian experience, I've seen virtually everything on an AR break, or an M4, M16. I've seen virtually everything you can imagine break, just because of usage or operator error, neglect, whatnot. But the one thing I've never seen break is the front sight post. It doubles as your gas block and your front sight post itself. And it's just a forged steel pinned onto the barrel. It's just really heavy duty. And I really do like co-witnessing that with my EOTech. Really just works for me. It's just one guy's opinion. I don't feel the need to get rid of this and put on a Picatinny block, add all these parts, and then further add all these parts for a flip side or whatnot. Keep it simple, keep it basic as much as possible is what I'm trying to do. Okay, so moving on, we're at the EOTech, and you're going to notice here that my EOTech is mounted as far forward as I'm comfortable putting it to maintain zero. It's the farthest allowable area that I can put it on the upper receiver. So, basically if I had a monolithic AR, I would put this all the way towards the front. And you see, I'll put up an image, but you'll see law enforcement do that, everybody else. I like to have a aim point, a red dot, a holographic, a 1 power optic. I like to have that as far forward as I'm comfortable while maintaining zero. And the reason for that is it seems like the housing actually starts to disappear more the farther it is away from your face. So that's something that I really like quite a bit. I don't shoot with the rear sight up, although some guys do. You can shoot like that. I've done both ways, and I really haven't noticed a difference between yes or no, up or down. It seems like I can do the same either way, performance-wise. Alright, so I'm using the Model 512. Now the U.S. Army issues and uses the EOTech Model 512. That doesn't really carry a lot of weight with me. Not, just because the military is using it doesn't necessarily mean that you need to go out there and get one. Case in point is the Beretta M9. I need to make a video about that. But moving on, just because the military is using it doesn't necessarily mean it's the latest and greatest. And I just like it because it's the AA's. You got your AA batteries right here sealed. So, I want my batteries. When it's time to change batteries, I don't want to have to hunt down these expensive, hard to find batteries or go to a specialty shop, or I just want to go to a gas station or a Walmart or whatever and just pick them up, recharge them, whatever. That's really what it was all about. So, and I consider this a luxury. I train with my iron sights. I train with this, without this. I train with all kinds of things. So, if this breaks, I just take it off, ditch it, and flip up my rear sight. And even if this somehow breaks, I at least have a front sight post to walk in my rounds with if I really have to. Okay, Magpul rear flip sight. I like it because you can easily change from your larger rear aperture. You can flip up your more fine aperture. It's pretty nice, pretty simple, pretty lightweight. Some people are going to say, oh, you should get a metal one, or a Midwest Industries, or you should get a Troy or whatever. This gets the job done. Haven't had any problems. Not really worried about it. And of course, I have that as far back as I can get it on my upper receiver to increase my sight radius. All right, moving on. We're looking at the Blackhawk sling. This is my heavy retention situation right here. This is a seatbelt material sling, and I really like the fact that I like a 2-point sling. It's strapped to my body, even if I fall off a cliff or something, or somebody's trying to grab it from my back or from my front, whatever. You know, it's going to stay on my body unless I want to take it off. So that's really the primary purpose. And you know, that's really it in terms of the gun itself. Now, the magazines I use are PMags. I use the Magpul PMags exclusively. Again, I'm not paid by any manufacturer. I just like, you know, I like what works and I hate what doesn't work, and I call it out. And Magpul PMags, excellent job, Magpul. Love your mags. I have never encountered a NATO mag that is better than this. This is far superior than any NATO mag I've ever seen, and this is even far superior to any plastic or polymer magazines or any magazines I've seen on the civilian market. So, you know, I cannot find, or I do not hold any AR mag better than this. This is the standard in my opinion. We use this when customers have AR problems. We have them shoot with this, and if they're having jams with a PMag, that means it's definitely the ammo or the gun. So, you know, it's such a huge asset. These just feed, they're heavy construction, huge fan of the PMag. For home defense, I'm using my 50 grain Federal Varmint Tip 223. See if you'll get in focus there. And 50 grain, the penetration is going to be about 6 to 7 inches if I'm lucky. Immediately when it hits a soft target, it starts to fall apart and expand. And you know, that's what it's designed to do. But that's why I use it for home defense. I don't need these high velocity 22 rounds punching through drywall. This is immediately just going to start to fall apart, and when it hits a soft target, you know, hydraulic mass is just going to start to expand instantly. So, huge fan of that. Like the PMags. When I'm closing down the gun range at night, I actually have the Federal M193, XM193s. Just your basic 55 grain, your lead, copper, or jacketed, and that stuff starts to tumble, starts to expand and fall apart when it hits a soft target. When it hits steel, you know, a 1/4 inch of mild steel, even at 200 yards with a 16-inch barrel, you're still going through steel. So, you know, I love that ammo for all around basic defense, but for home defense especially, I go for that 50 grain varmint tipped. Hornady has I think it's 53 grain. They have a really good equivalent. So anyway, that's my defensive AR setup. Hopefully I had some concepts here I brought out that make you think about